Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out what actually is a Piccadilly.
I'm here at Piccadilly Circus. There's a street called Piccadilly, and I travelled here on the Piccadilly line. I've never heard anybody ask, what actually is a Piccadilly?
That's a great question. Y'all be sure to go to Luke O'Sullivan and like and subscribe. What is a Piccadilly? I thought it was someone's name, like Joseph Piccadilly. But I guess it's not. I've heard of Piccadilly Circus. There was a point in my life where I thought it was an actual circus with a tent. I know that's not true. I am a dumb Yankee, but I know that much. Let's see what it is. What's a Piccadilly? Luke, tell me what a Piccadilly is.
And I travelled here on the Piccadilly line. I've never heard anybody ask, what actually is a Piccadilly?
Great question.
When you look at London's other infrastructure, you can have a general idea where the names came from. Trafalgar Square is named after the Battle of Trafalgar. Oxford Circus is on Oxford Street, the old way to Oxford.
Right.
But what about everything Piccadilly? It's not just London either. There's also Piccadilly in Manchester.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I looked it up in the dictionary. And
Yeah, what the heck is a Piccadilly? If it's not an area, is it a person's name? Hang on. Show me on a map. Down Piccadilly Circus. Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. They got the Coca-Cola sign. Atlanta, Georgia, what up? Coca-Cola. Drink it. Cane sugar. I love the juxtaposition between the old style buildings. I don't know what the architectural style that is. I have no idea. Georgian. Victorian. I don't know. The juxtaposition between that architecture and the modern LED billboards. Oh. They got the Christmas lights out. Merry Christmas, Piccadilly. Also, the word Piccadilly is very British. There's a lot of diddly-daddly-doos and boodle-beedle-boo and willoughby, willoughby-la-la-la, kind of like L's and B's and little soft consonants, you know? Soft consonants. Merry Christmas, Piccadilly. A road. A theater. Oh, I love all the lights. There's a neighborhood effort to get a look going. I appreciate that. Subway station? Like this. This is old school. This could be an ancient Roman building, or it could be from the 1940s. There's no telling. Yes, there. Yes, see? That's awesome. I love that. Okay, sorry, Luke. Please continue.
I looked it up in the dictionary, and the definition was one of the main streets in London. Then I asked my friends, and no one knew. So
that's a crap dictionary. Way to go, dictionary. I feel like that, like any of us could write a dictionary. If that's what the definition is, right? Dictionary. Piece of dictionary.
Then I asked my friends, and no one knew. So I did some digging. Imagine it's the mid-1500s and you're in the courts of Spain or Italy. You want to stand out and show your wealth and power, but everyone's already got fancy clothes and jewelry. You need something more.
Ooh. I'm in the 1500s Spain, and I'm rich as f***. I want to stand out. Okay, he said no jewelry. I need the captions on. Everyone else already has the bomb-ass clothes and jewelry. I need something more. I would go naked. Diamond? No, that's jewelry. Gold-plated testicles. Or maybe like a really bomb-ass haircut. I don't know. An automobile? 1500s Spain, though. What would I do? I would probably build a palace or something. I don't know. I don't think I would want people to know I had money. Because then they'll come and steal it. They'll come and kidnap your family for ransom. Right? Hide that money under the mattress. Your straw mattress with the mice. That's what I would do. Oh, the frilly thing.
So
is that a Piccadilly?
These extravagant linen ruffs around their necks, and it became so trendy that it became a massive industry.
Oh.
By
Really?
the 1560s, these stiff-laced collars had made their way to England and quickly became the ultimate status symbol. Helped by the fact that unless you were a knight or above, you couldn't actually legally wear one. Even Queen
Really?
Elizabeth I wore one in a portrait around 1575.
Yeah, you couldn't legally wear one? Damn, y'all, what a world. That does seem like a Spanish thing. I feel like I've seen a lot of portraits of Spanish explorers wearing those. What are they called exactly? They're made of linen. Linen ruffs. Show me on the internet. Linen ruffs. Can I buy one today? Rough linen. Linen ruffs. Collar? No. No. Oh, no. I don't know. I guess it's not, we're not legally allowed to wear them these days, so it's been wiped off the internet, I guess.
And it was into that world of lace making and royal fashion stepped Robert Baker, who opened a workshop on the site behind me in around 1600 on what was then known as the Road to Reading or the Way from Colnbrook. Pretty quickly, a name for these collars was developed. They called them piccadills. Thought to come from
Okay. Here it is. Now we know. Can I type in Piccadill and it will come up? Piccadill? Not Piccadilly. Oh, yes. Piccadill can refer to several things, most notably a type of 16th to 17th century collar, a street in London, and a type of linen fabric. Piccadill. A large, broad collar of cut-work lace that became fashionable in the blah, blah, blah. The term may originate from a conjectured Spanish word picadillo, from picado, meaning punctured or pierced, or the Welsh word pica, meaning pointed. This is similar to the Spanish word picadura, used for the lace collars of the 17th century that contained much elaborate cutwork point lace. Did I read that right? I don't think I read that right. Moving on. Queen Elizabeth I wore one. Queen Elizabeth II did not, I don't think. Sir Walter Raleigh. Okay. So this guy opened a shop? Robert Baker.
Who opened a workshop on the site behind me in around 1600 on what was then known as the Road to Reading or...
Oh, he opened it in 1600 and... Oh.
The Way from Colnbrook. Pretty quickly, a name for these collars was developed. They called them piccadills. Thought to come from the Spanish word picado, meaning punctured or pierced.
We already knew that. We already
With business booming, Baker built a house.
Or a Welsh word, right?
Which he called Piccadilly Hall. And in 1668, the street name finally changed to Portugal Street. Which he called Piccadilly Hall.
Okay. Piccadill. So this guy, Robert Baker, he built his store around 1600, and then in 1668 he built this house. How old did he live to be? Robert Baker. That's a very standard name. We probably won't find anything about him. Robert Baker. Oh, shortly after purchasing the land, he enclosed it and erected several dwellings, including his home, Piccadilly Hall. What is now Piccadilly was named Portugal Street in 1663. Okay. He named his house. Yo, you know you're rich if your house has a name, right? If you named your house, what would it be? Mine would be Puppy Hall. Actually, y'all have a puppy, and he has not inside yet. I knock on wood. Thank God. Anyway.
And in 1668, the street name finally changed to Portugal Street, named in honor of Catherine of Brazanga, the wife of King Charles II.
Who the hell is she? Why didn't they call it Bazanga Street, right? Or Catherine Street?
It's safe to say that the name Portugal Street didn't catch on, and people just ended up calling it Piccadilly after the hall. So in 1673, part of the street was renamed Piccadilly, this time spelt as it is today, and eventually this spread to the whole street.
Cool. I wonder if there's an ancient etching of Piccadilly Hall. Piccadilly Hall. An ancient etching. Oh my gosh, there is sorta. Oh no, that's Egyptian Hall. Piccadilly Hall high-res stock photograph and images. Decline cookies, thank you. Okay, I mean, we know, okay. I don't think there is, but we can imagine what it must look like.
Over time, it became a very respectable street, known for booksellers and stately homes.
Nice.
And it was off the back of this reputation that up here in Manchester in the 1750s, planners redeveloping Leavers Row had an idea. The street was going to be grand and they needed a way to encourage people to move in. So, in an attempt to ride off Piccadilly's reputation and create a sort of sister street, they decided to rename the street Piccadilly.
That's clever. That's very clever. That's very clever. I take back, I'm not naming my apartment puppy hall. I'm going to name it YouTube Sensation Room.
It worked, attracting wealthy middle-class merchants and professionals who built grand townhouses. Over the years, offices and shops were built, as well as Piccadilly Gardens, making it the busy metropolitan street it is today. But back in London, the name Piccadilly was just getting started. There was a huge new development happening called Regent Street. At each end of this new street, they built circuses. Not like in a tent, like the Latin word for circle, and they called them Regent Circus North and South. But these names are...
I didn't know the Latin word for circle was circus. Why did we have to change it? Why don't we just call a circle a circus, right? How'd that happen? I don't know. Why didn't they just call it Piccadilly Circle? I don't... Thanks, Grandma, Grandpa.
For circle, and they called them Regent Circus North and South. But these names again didn't catch on, and the North one was called Oxford Circus due to its link with Oxford Street, and the South one was renamed Piccadilly Circus after its link with Piccadilly.
It sounds great,
in
though,
1902,
too.
two companies that were planning...
Piccadilly is such a much better word than regent. Regent. Regent sounds like it's like a prison. You don't want to go there, right? It sounds like juvenile delinquents hang out at Regent. You don't want to go to Regent. You want to go to Piccadilly.
After its link with Piccadilly. Then, in 1902, two companies that were planning to build a railway under Piccadilly merged together to create the Great Northern, Piccadilly and Brompton Railway. This would be joined by the Baker Street and Waterloo Railway, with both planning to launch in 1906.
Okay.
Everyone loved them, but they hated the names. So they became the Bakerloo Line and the Piccadilly Line.
Bakerloo. That's another Britishy word. That's a great name. Bakerloo. Piccadilly. Wonderful. Way to go.
The last major addition to this Piccadilly collection was the renaming of Manchester London Road Station to Manchester Piccadilly in 1960.
Much better.
To better reflect the local area.
Much better. And
so,
it's fun,
why do
more
we
fun
love
to
the word
say.
Piccadilly so much?
It's awesome.
Maybe it's just that it's a fun word to say.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's that it sounds historic, even though most of us don't know what it means. Or maybe it's just that the new definition of Piccadilly is an exciting place to be. And that's the story of how a fashion accessory ended up providing a name to not just one street, but multiple important streets in different cities.
Surprised.
A famous landmark, a major station, and an entire tube line responsible for 150 million journeys every year. Like so many things, the name adopted, the meaning lost. At least you now know the meaning behind this one.
Oh, I love that little bit at the end there of just a moment in time at Piccadilly Circus. Y'all, now we know. Now we know. To my modern eye, a piccadill looks super dumb. I'm not wearing that. Or am I? This is the closest thing that I have to a piccadill. What do you think? Super dumb, right? What if I do this? Do I look like one of those dudes? Do I look rich? Am I gonna get thrown in jail for wearing this? Oh, you know what though? It kind of frames the face in a way. It like, don't look at my little noodly arms. It kind of looks at, it kind of like if you have a fat neck, it kind of makes you look fit. I don't know, I kind of get it now. Okay. Maybe piccadills are going to come back, y'all. Maybe they're going to come back. I don't know. You never know. You never know. In the time that we've all been alive, unless you're over 100 years old, it's been almost no time in terms of fashion, right? Trends move quick, but at the same time they don't, We're still wearing suits and ties. They were wearing that 100 years ago. You know? What am I even talking about anymore? I don't know. Well, y'all, be sure to go to Luke O'Sullivan and like and subscribe. Thank you, Luke, for making this video. It was very interesting. I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.